So there are four different types of transitions because there are three different types of electrons. And what are those electrons? We have sigma electrons. Sigma electrons are those which are involved in sigma bond. Then we have pi electrons. Pi electrons are those which are involved in pi bonding. And third is the non-bonding electron. Non-bonding electrons are those which do not involve in any type of bonding. So we have three types of, so we have sigma, then pi, then n type of electron. Again we have pi star orbital, which is the anti-bonding orbital, and we have sigma star orbital. So these are the different levels, energy levels associated with these sigma, pi, n, pi star and sigma star. So there are either a transition takes place from sigma to sigma star or n to sigma star, or the transition can take place from pi to pi star or from n to pi star. So there are four different types of transitions only: sigma, sigma star transition. Then we have n sigma star transition, then pi to pi star transition, and n to pi star transition. If we arrange them in increasing order of energy, the lowest energy is required for n to pi star. Then we have pi to pi star, n to sigma star, and highest amount of energy is required for a sigma to sigma star transition. We will discuss now each of these transitions in detail. So the first type of transition is sigma to sigma star transition. As sigma electrons are present in all organic compounds containing single bonds, means all saturated compounds. Therefore, this type of transition is present in all organic molecules. They are present in all saturated compounds and even in unsaturated also, because in unsaturated also there are certain sigma bonds, and even in the double bond we have first bond is sigma bond, the second bond is pi bond. But these type of transition, as you can see from the figure, the energy difference is very high. Therefore, this type of transition requires the highest amount of energy, and that energy is not available in the normal ultraviolet region, which generally starts from 190 to 800 nanometer in visible region. If we supply a light of 190 nanometer, then that particular radiation does not have enough amount of energy so that sigma electrons can be promoted to sigma star orbital. Therefore, for such a transition, we have to carry out the experiment, or we have to supply the light which is having even higher energy. That means which is having even shorter wavelength. Therefore, this type of transition can be studied below 190, or you can say below 180 nanometers. Around 150 or 160 nanometer wavelength light can only cause sigma to sigma star transition. And since most of the modern ultraviolet spectrophotometers starts from 190 nanometer, therefore we do not observe sigma to sigma star transition in normal spectrophotometers. This region below 190 nanometer is known as vacuum ultraviolet region. So we can say that sigma to sigma star transition occurs in vacuum ultraviolet region. So there are two reasons for not studying this type of transition. The first reason is that it requires very high amount of energy. It occurs only in vacuum ultraviolet region. Therefore, most of the instruments do not cover this particular region. The second reason is that since sigma electrons are present in almost all molecules, and therefore if we study this transition, then this band will be present in all organic molecules, all compounds. Then it is very difficult for us to identify that which sigma star transition corresponds to which type of sigma electron. since it occurs in all organic compounds. Therefore, it is only for you to understand what is sigma-sigma star transition, but we do not much study this. The second transition is known as N to sigma star transition. This type of transition occurs in case of saturated compounds containing a heteroatom. For example, compounds having OH or OR, and even compounds such as halides. Because, for example, if we have chloride, methyl chloride or methyl bromide, then these heteroatoms has non-bonding electron. And when they have non-bonding electron, there is a possibility that these non-bonding electron can be promoted to sigma star orbital. And whenever such a condition occurs, we get N to sigma star transition. An important point to be kept in mind here that this type of transition also depends upon the electronegativity of the heteroatom. For example, we have a compound CCl, and we also have a similar compound where C and Br is there. Since electronegativity of chlorine atom is higher as compared to bromine, therefore it is difficult to promote electron from chlorine. So N to sigma star transition in case of this chloride will be difficult and requires high energy, and therefore it occurs at shorter wavelength. While in case of CBr, since the electronegativity of bromine is less as compared to chlorine, this type of transition occurs at lower energy and longer wavelength. So we can say that N to sigma star transition also depends upon the electronegativity of the heteroatom. Now the third type of transition is known as pi to pi star transition, and they are very important type of transition. They are present in unsaturated compounds. They are found in unsaturated compounds containing CC double bond or CC triple bond. Clear? And even in compounds having CO double bond, because we have pi electrons here. And pi electrons can be promoted to pi star orbital when they absorb energy. And from the figure you can see that since pi orbitals and pi star orbital are not very far, the energy difference is not very high. Therefore, a small amount of energy is needed to observe this type of transition. So in all ethylenes, acetyl compounds, and in carbonyl compounds, we observe pi to pi star transition. It is worthy to mention that pi to pi star transition requires energy even lesser than the energy required for N to sigma star transition. And one more thing, this type of transition is very useful to determine the conjugation in a compound. For example, in case of a compound containing more than 2 CC double bond, but these bonds are not in conjugated, means it is an unconjugated system. Then in such a case, the absorption will occur at shorter wavelength. While if the same number of CC double bonds are in conjugation, means if the system is conjugated, then we get the same types of pi to pi star transition at longer wavelength. And then we have the fourth and last type of transition, which is known as the N to pi star transition. N to pi star transition, as you can see from the figure, requires the lowest amount of energy among all the transitions. It requires the lowest amount of energy among all the transitions. Further, N to pi star transition are possible in compounds that are unsaturated, means they must be having double or triple bond, also be having a heteroatom. In most of the cases, for example, in carbon compounds, we observe both these transitions. We observe pi to pi star as well as N to pi star transition. Similarly, in case of nitrile also, we observe pi to pi star and N to pi star. And since the energy required for N to pi star is lesser, therefore N to pi star transition are observed at longer wavelength. while pi to pi star transition as compared to 10 to pi star transition, they are observed at shorter wavelength. So this is all about the types of transition and what are the compounds in which these transitions are observed and what are the values of wavelength, whether they are observed at longer wavelength or shorter wavelength. In the next class, we will discuss about the concept of chromophores, auxochromes and types of bands.